Hey there, IT 140 students. So in this recording, I'm going to go through some details for the lab assignments in Module 1. So first one we have here is Lab 111, and in here what we want to do is we want to get input of a name, a place, a number, and then an object. And we want to spit out a sentence that's going to take the name, the place, the amount, and then the object. And if we put in different inputs, then we're going to get a different story output. So they come down here and they go ahead and they've already got some stuff already started here. So they got first name. So we're going to read in the first name as the variable first underscore name. Remember, it needs to be a Python case. Um, we're going to then have to get in the place. So we need a place variable, and then we need so they've got a generic location variable, so that's going to be the next one right there. They've got a whole number, so we're going to read in the number, and then we're also going to read in a plural noun. So the only one that's going to be a little bit different is this whole number. You can't just read it in with input. So you're going to have to use the int operator. So it's going to be, something like whole number equals. So if you just do input, that's going to read it in as a string, and we need to convert it to an integer. So make sure that gets turned into an integer right there. And again, you have to read in all the pieces, and then this should output the story. Now, when you go to run this thing, so you're going to get an error on line 2. It's saying EOF, that's end of file. And so it's coming in here and it's saying, well, there's no input for me to read. So you have to put the input right here. So you would put in test input. So I would just copy this right here and paste it in here, one thing at a time. And so now when I run this, it's going to blow up down here because it's going to say, I don't know what that's because I don't have, so it's blowing up because I don't have the right order. I'm trying to read in a string here into a number. So once I get them in the right order, name, location, whole number, plural noun getting read in, then this would read in properly. And then if you want to test the other one, you come in here, copy, and paste it down here. So don't do this where you input Eric and you don't put in any values in here. This input without anything in here is going to be reading in the input as it's read in by the program. Once you get this wrapped up, so then we would delete out the to do, get rid of type your code, and we would just say read in. I would actually just do this, read inputs, and get rid of that right there. Anything that says something like do not modify the code below, get rid of that, and this would be fine right here. Oh, by the way, if you go to the announcements, so the code guidelines, so all of your variables should be snake cased, just like we saw right here, and so forth. And again, some simple comments, anything that's a boilerplate code, like type your code here, things like that, delete that, okay? All right, so that's section 111. We go into section 1.12. Here's where we're going to enter in an integer. So they've already got the first one here, usernum. So we're going to read in an integer. So again, that's got to have an int function because we have to turn this string value into a number. If I don't use the int, it's going to be a string. And when I try to do arithmetic with it, which is what we want to do here, then it's not going to work properly. Get rid of something like type your code here. We want to print out, if I can get the right comment symbol. So we want to print out you entered and then the number. So that's just an easy print statement. We want to have 4 squared is 16. Now remember, you're not going to print out a literal 4 and a literal 16. So if you do this, this would be wrong. So don't do that right there where you type it in as a string. because when they run their next test, this is going to fail. So it should concatenate, it should do a print, user num, and then squared is, and make sure you handle the spacing. So I need to put a space right there, and then I'm going to put in the result right here. Now, I really don't want you doing calculations in print statements. So I should do something like this. Result equals user num times user num. That's going to be the value squared, and then I can do that right there. So I don't want you printing using print statements with arithmetic in them. It makes it very difficult to debug. Keep the code clean like this, where in output statements, we're only displaying output. So then you would continue on, and we do and for cubed, and then we ask for another integer, and then we display the first number and second number, its sum, and then their product. So that shouldn't be all that difficult. Oh, by the way, if you scroll down again, there is a place to input the values right here. So make sure that you put in the numbers that are going to be tested. So in this case, it would be 4 and 5, and your output needs to match exactly what is up here. Okay, 1.23. So now we're going to do some division. So we are going to input the first number. We're going to input the second number. So this is going to be the divisor. This is just the value. So, I'm going to do get the value, get the divisor, do the division, save to a variable, and then we are going to print out the output. Now they want, so it's divided by x 3 times. So we would have done the first division, save to a variable. So this might be something like result 1 equals the number divided by 2. And then we're going to have result 2. So we are going to continue just dividing that same number. So we would take result 1 divided by 2 and so forth. And then we can just print our output just like we see right here. And then if I scroll down, right here is where we type in our input numbers, the 2000 and the 2. Okay, in section 1.24, they give us a formula for how to calculate calories based on age, weight, heart rate, and time. And so what we want to do is input these values, the age, the weight, the heart rate, and the time. That's in this order right here. And calculate the calories, and then print this output right here. So to be honest, I would just do this right here. I would copy this, and then it's going to say heart rate. This is not a good variable because you can't have a space in a variable name. So turn these right here into good variable names. All you have to do is snake case them. So lowercase a, lowercase w, heart underscore rate, so forth. That calculates your calories, and then all you have to do is display this output right here. So shouldn't be too difficult. Again, copy these values, come down here, paste them right there when you run your program. Last one is 1.25. So here we want to enter in an integer. We're going to enter in a float. We're going to enter in a character. We're going to enter in a string. So we prompt for these values right here, and then we read them in. So remember, this has to use the int function. And let me go back to Zybooks. Let me see if I can get Zybooks opened up. This is 1.25, so a little bit before it. So we are inputting numeric types. So to input the numeric type, we're going to do float input to get in the float value. To get the character, so let's go back here, characters. So I should be able to just use an input. Let me see if I can find character in here. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah, so I should be able to just read in a character. It's going to be treated just like a string. And same thing with the string. So I don't have to do anything fancy. I can just read in the character and the string just normal using input. And then our job is to display this output right here. And then we need to convert the integer to a character. So I'm going to leave that to you to figure out as kind of the A plus portion of the assignment. All of this should be straightforward. I'm going to leave this to you. It is definitely in the Zybooks, but again, I'm going to leave that to you to implement. As you implement these things, turn these fix me's into comments that make sense. So remove the fix me, and instead of saying like finish reading other items, I'm going to say something like read in input. Make it make sense. Don't have comments before things that aren't stating what they do. Okay, as always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to send those my way.